Welcome to the social media iceberg. In this video, I'll be taking a look into the world of social media and the internet. This iceberg is very fascinating. It gets pretty obscure, so without further ado, let's get right into this thing. Starting off at the top of the image, we have the clear skies. Facebook. Facebook is probably the largest social media platform out there, and is without a doubt one of the most influential, originally being a website where college students would rate the attractiveness of their fellow students. This platform was created by Mark Zuckerberg, and at the time was already collecting a lot of personal data from people. Facebook was created in 2004 and became a smash hit. Originally it was very popular with the youth, but has now seen itself being a major misinformation hub that's mostly inhabited by old people, and your parents and stuff. Facebook and its products will definitely appear more on this iceberg. Rise of social media. Social media as a whole has seen such a quick and insanely successful rise to power, both on the internet and in our society as a whole. The concept of this online ecosystem that only around 15 years ago was nothing, and is now an insanely powerful multimedia network that spans through the entire world it's wild, and we didn't even see it coming. Metaverse. The metaverse is Facebook's new project to make a VR world that is a lot more than a game. Hell, Facebook even changed its entire company name to Meta. They're essentially trying to make the Oasis from Ready Player One. The metaverse is something of infamy. Some people think it's great, while others are very scared of it. The metaverse name itself comes from a 1992 novel by the name of Snow Crash. This video is being written in December of 2021, and the metaverse isn't much right now, but it's gonna get big. Cancel culture. Cancel culture is a bit hard to explain, but it's essentially a thing that people partake in online which they try and bring accountability to people who have done something wrong, or at least in their eyes done something wrong. Sometimes people get cancelled for super valid reasons, making cancel culture a good force, while others get cancelled for something that they didn't even do or just things that weren't worth it. Cancel culture has become a total boogeyman for people on the right wing, and I honestly think that's pretty funny. It's not really a great thing, but it's really not as bad as a lot of people say. Dark mode. This entry is pretty self-explanatory. Dark mode is a preference that you can set on a lot of websites, change the traditional white background to a nice dark gray, which makes it a lot more comfortable to look at night. Death of Vine. Vine was a social media platform created by the same people who made Twitter. It was a really simple social media, one where every video was only around 6 seconds long. But it made one hell of an impact. So many Vines are so iconic and are constantly being quoted by Gen Z kids. But here's the thing. Despite its success, Vine shut down in 2017 because it wasn't very monetizable. Vine is still very fondly remembered in the hearts of many. Musical.ly's purchase. Musical.ly was an app where you would basically just kind of lip sync to a variety of different songs, and that's pretty much it. It was really popular with kids and teens, mostly finding its market with preteen girls. But most people who weren't in that age range weren't fans of Musical.ly. But you might be wondering, what is Musical.ly? I've never heard of that. Well, in May of 2017, a Chinese media conglomerate purchased Musical.ly. This company is called ByteDance Ltd. In August of 2018, Musical.ly was shut down and then merged with something you might be familiar with. TikTok. Creepypasta. Creepypastas are essentially online campfire stories, coming from the term copypasta, which is a combination word of copy and pasting. The reason they're called creepypastas is you can easily copy and paste these stories anywhere you want. Creepypastas were some of the most iconic stories on the internet. They were really something else at the time. So many creepypasta characters and stories are so iconic and are unforgettable parts of the internet. Tip of the iceberg. Among Us sightings. This entry is one of a couple joke ones. I'm pretty sure this one's just related to those stupid videos claiming to find real-life Among Us characters. Most infamous examples will probably be the ones by Arcade Craniacs. The rise of storytime animators. So, you're probably familiar with the genre of storytime animations, most famous of these being the Odd Ones Out, and Jaden animations. This genre went from being nothing to something, and something as in one of the biggest and most profitable on all of YouTube. I remember being a kid and finding the Odd Ones Out back when he had under 100,000 subscribers, and I liked it quite a lot. I'm pretty sure it only had like 40,000 subscribers at the time, and I remember really hoping that the genre took off, and well, look at them now. 4chan. 4chan is one of the most infamous and iconic websites on the surface web of the internet. It started off as an anime discussion forum, but eventually became one of the biggest websites for weird neckbeards who've never touched a boob. The website has a lot of negative stigma towards it, and for good reason. But the website's responsible for so much of the internet. So many memes come from 4chan, bronies come from 4chan. There's a lot of terrible stuff that comes from the website, but it's still an incredibly iconic part of the internet to this day. John Doe. John Doe is one of the first accounts ever made in the online game Roblox. It's speculated that John Doe was just made as a test account by Roblox, but there are Roblox conspiracy theories and creepypastas about how this John Doe character is a hacker, or is an evil haunted account that will hack you and steal all of your Robux. Undertale fandom's vastness. This one's pretty self-explanatory. The fanbase for the game Undertale is expansive, very, very expansive. At the game's height of popularity, it was almost impossible for anyone to escape it. The fandom was also pretty shitty, so it could get pretty annoying at times. Influencer scandals. Influencers are often pretty shitty people. That of course leads to a bunch of scandals and all that, because a lot of the time they're just bad people that end up becoming famous, and then they have a massive audience they can creep on or whatever it may be. Whether they want to steal money from them, scam them, there's so much stuff. Furry fandom conglomerate. The furry community is fucking massive. Doesn't matter what you're looking for, doesn't matter how obscure you think certain things may be, there's most likely furry art of it. And I'm not going to show you because I straight up don't like it. But the thing is about the furry community is that in a way it's kind of a conglomerate in the sense that they all like the same thing in the end. Slender Man. Slender Man is one of the most infamous creepypasta characters of all time. The character is a tall and very slender man with a dapper suit and a white face. This character scared so many children back in the day, and he's incredibly memorable and iconic. There are many videos on social media claiming to be the real Slender Man, or, showing sightings of the real Slender Man, which are a ton of fun to watch, because a lot of the time they're terrible. Shallow Waters. Corporate Twitter accounts. Alright, so on the social media website Twitter, there are a bunch of corporations with Twitter accounts. In the past, these were nothing special, mainly just used to promote new products or events, but in 2017, the Twitter account for Wendy's started roasting people in the comments and was generally just really sassy. This became a sensation since people had never seen a corporation act like this online. Other companies joined in on the trend, leading it to become a really cringe thing. Really cringe tweets ended up coming out of this. Nowadays, most corporations actually have Twitter accounts which are trying to be cool. Analog horror. Analog horror is a relatively new horror subgenre which deals with the fear of old technology. That's not really the best way to say it. It's kind of hard to explain, but it's such a creepy, specific thing. Local 58 is a creepy web series that is made to look like it's old footage from an old TV show. Local 58 is actually created by the same man who created Candle Cove, which is one of the best creepypastas out there. Local 58 is a great example of what analog horror really is, but there's also a lot more, and it's becoming a more and more popular thing. Analog horror is an incredibly interesting form of horror, and I highly suggest that you check it out. It hits really hard, for me at least. TikTok Benadryl Challenge. This entry is referring to a stupid challenge that got popular on TikTok in 2020. This challenge was literally just to see how much Benadryl you could take until you got high, which is a side effect of excessive use of Benadryl. But you know what else is? Death. Yeah, unfortunately this challenge actually killed people, which is so unfortunate. TikTok not removing videos of this challenge led to death, which is obviously incredibly irresponsible of the platform. Facebook is bloatware. Alright, so the Facebook app itself, like on your phone, used to take up way too much space on people's phones. This ended up being because there's just a bunch of random stuff that the app doesn't really even use that just makes the file size way too big. This also led to your DMs on Facebook making the storage size even more disproportionate. Really just poorly done. Bronies. Bronies are male fans of the cartoon show My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. My Little Pony captivated people on 4chan of all places at first. The name is a mix of bro and pony, created by some random 4chan user. The community grew to unforeseen sizes with full-on conventions all across America, the biggest and most official of which being BronyCon. In recent years this community has kind of died, but many people still have really fond memories from when it was still a big thing. DeviantArt infamy. DeviantArt is a website where users can upload a massive variety of art of basically anything. It started off pretty normal, but quickly became a place inhabited by a lot of different types of people. There were even controversies within the website communities, like a long debate over art bases. I think this entry is mostly referring to the weird-ass fetish art communities that exist on DeviantArt. I mean, deviant, it's in the name. Flat Earthers. This entry is referring to a fascinating group of people who genuinely believe that the Earth is flat instead of being normal, round planet shape. This was a belief hundreds of years ago, but has picked up again in recent times. This theory is just bizarre, but there are a lot of people who genuinely believe it. This is labeled as a conspiracy theory, and for this reason, there are conspiracy theories about this theory, claiming that it was planted by the government to make other credible conspiracy theories look bad, since flat earthers are so baseless and dumb. It's basically saying, oh yeah, look at how dumb conspiracy theories are, these other ones are also dumb by proxy. Belle Delphine bathwater incident. This entry is probably referring to one of two different things regarding Belle Delphine and her bathwater. For those who don't know, Belle Delphine is an internet celebrity who is famous for her looks and the strange things that she does and dresses up as. In 2019, she sold little jars of water that she had bathed in. Since we live in dystopia, all of these sold out immediately, so she continued to just take baths and sell the water and make a ton of cash. The controversy comes from people who claim to contract herpes after drinking the bathwater. This wasn't true. It was just a random tweet that someone sent out to get attention. The tweet was made before the bathwater was even shipped, so that wasn't even true, but other internet users who were self-proclaimed microbiologists tested the bathwater for human DNA and found none. Now, is this true? Well, again, this is just unconfirmed tweets and 4chan posts, so no, probably not. Bell claims that all the bathwater was indeed legitimate, but people still are skeptical. r/I'm sorry, John. I'm Sorry John is a subreddit dedicated to making disturbing horror art of Garfield. The designs that people come up with are truly unique and genuinely pretty scary a lot of the time. The fact that they turn the little innocent concept of Garfield into a terrifying satire of its original self is pretty awesome, and it's kind of a testament to how cool and bizarre the World Wide Web can get. Middle of the ice. Reddit Super Bowl. During the 2021 Super Bowl, Reddit, for the first time ever, aired a super short little commercial that glitched in and out. The ad itself plays with the fact that the Super Bowl ads are expensive and honestly is kinda cool. I personally don't love Reddit as a whole, but I'll admit this is a pretty unique ad if nothing else. Crawler sightings. Alright, so crawlers are a subset of cryptids. For those who don't know, a cryptid is a name given to animals and creatures who aren't confirmed to exist. See my Cryptid Iceberg video for more information. It's a good watch, you'll like it. Crawlers are specifically humanoid cryptids that are often hairless and pale. Their movements and limbs are often just a little bit inhuman or a lot inhuman. Basically those vampires from American Horror Story. There are a lot of videos on social media claiming to show these creatures in action alongside a bunch of first-hand accounts of these creatures as well. The Tumblr Exodus. This entry is referring to an almost apocalyptic event on the website Tumblr. You see, Tumblr is a website that hosts a lot of fandoms and communities. Like any website, there are a lot of really weird and annoying people on Tumblr, but on this website their voices are amplified to a point where, being weird and annoying kind of became a stereotype for a Tumblr user. On December 17th, 2018, Tumblr banned not safe for work content. A lot of people were on Tumblr for this type of content, so it almost dismantled the infrastructure of the entire website. So many people left and migrated to other websites, mostly Twitter. This made Twitter a website with a community that had been worsened by all the worst people of Tumblr calling it their new home. This event is known as the Tumblr Exodus. GhostGum has got a really great video on it if you want to learn more. A Roblox black market. Didn't think I'd be saying that anytime soon. This entry is referring to a bizarre underground system of people who trade real-life money in exchange for Roblox items. This is not allowed and could get your account banned, but for whatever reason, it is and was very much a thing. Cicada 3301. Cicada 3301 was an ARG that was one of the most advanced of its time. The game used methods of puzzle solving that were never really seen before, and it's only a very small amount of people who actually completed it. I'm not going to go into detail about this since we would be here all day, but it's a pretty interesting theory that Cicada 3301 was actually a recruitment system by the US government so they could find the best spies and codebreakers. Honestly, I kinda love that concept and I hope that it's true. r/Pikmin Insanity. This entry is referring to the bizarre state of the Pikmin subreddit. After a lack of content, the sub went feral with crazy nonsensical posts being all that you could find in a once genuine Pikmin fan subreddit. The Sun Vanished. The Sun Vanished was a pretty fascinating ARG that unfolded on Twitter. The concept was simple. Somehow the sun just randomly vanished, and then of course, slowly the world goes to shit. The tweeter has to adapt and survive. The whole thing started 4 years ago, but the account will still return periodically and tweet just a bit more to update people. Diary of a Wimpy Kid fanfiction. Alright, so this is a pretty bizarre one, but of course it's a thing. On the internet, there's a concerning amount of Diary of a Wimpy Kid fanfiction. Some are clearly comedic, while others are genuine. Some actually just look like the original books, which is pretty interesting. There is a very iconic one about Greg and Rowley growing up, and Greg being gay and into Rowley, and there's like a very popular part of that comic where he says, "I'm not gay, Greg," and I think that's probably the most popular example. The Steven Universe fandom harassment. Alright, so there are some people in the fandom for a cartoon show by the name of Steven Universe that are very toxic and just crazy. These types of people in the fandom would attack and harass people for the smallest things. I think the most infamous example of this is a time an artist drew a heavy-set character from the show, Thin. The artist got harassed and got death threats from a shit ton of people, which is genuinely just despicable. The Body. The Carnivores fandom refuses to die. This one took me a second to figure out, but this entry is actually referring to an old dinosaur video game with a very dedicated fanbase who still makes mods for it to this day. That's about it. 8kun. 8kun, previously called 8chan, Infinite Chan, or Infinity Chan, is an image board website composed of user-created message boards. 8kun is basically the worst of 4chan in a sense. Like, this website gets really bad. I'm not going to get into detail, but there's a lot of fucked up stuff on that website, since there's little to no moderation. Roblox cults. So believe it or not, there are cults on Roblox. The cult family is one of the most well-known groups of myths on Roblox, tracing its origin back to 2012. They are heavy religious influence, being members of an unknown branch of Christianity. It's bizarre, but hey, that's just how it is. There's a lot of weird stuff on Roblox that can be found with a bit of digging, and it's kind of amazing. Zalgo. The Zalgo text generator is how you get your normal text to look crazy and creepy like this. Even if you didn't know it by name, you've probably seen Zalgo text somewhere, so that's why it's here. Camera heads. Camera heads is one of the most fascinating parts of this entire iceberg in my opinion. There was once a 4chan thread describing a creepypasta-style story about a guy finding a note saying, "I killed a camera head," signs of a struggle, and a smashed camera alongside a VHS tape. The story then went into the guy being hunted and stalked by these camera head creatures. There's a video on YouTube uploaded by the name of Camera Head. The video is mostly just static, with some faint images. Towards the end, a figure with a smiling mask-like face emerges from the static, and quickly recedes. Lots of 4chan users remember the story, which makes its seemingly random disappearance pretty strange and honestly unfortunate. It's such an interesting and gripping concept, and I really hope that someday we find an archive of the original story to finally put the mystery to rest. Teletubbies Facts Twitter account. On Twitter, there's an account by the name of Teletubbies Facts that looks innocent at first, but definitely isn't. It's an alternate reality game, which features a man named Dave, the owner of the account, getting mad and violent towards his ex-wife. He picked up some speed in 2017, but fell off after that. Raymundo Horror made a video on it that popularized it, but the story continued after that. Evolved Ape NFT scandal. NFTs. I'm not a fan. If you don't know what an NFT is, then, well, good for you. I envy you. There's a line of NFTs being released by the name of Evolved Apes. This line of digital art was manned by a guy who went by Evil Ape. He promised an epic fighting game with these ugly-ass characters, and assured people that this line of NFTs was going to be the next big thing. But guess what? It was a total scam. Evil Ape took around $3 million and ran. Nothing he promised came true, and he completely just deleted everything like it's a Twitter account. NFTs are a really risky game, not only for the future of our planet, but also just the people who invest in them. Unfavorable Semicircle. Unfavorable Semicircle is the name of a series of channels on YouTube, which garnered attention for the high volume and unusual nature of the published videos. The BBC has referred to Unfavorable Semicircle as YouTube's strangest mystery. Unfavorable Semicircle has also been referred to as one of the top 10 weirdest YouTube channels. In March of 2015, a YouTube account with the title Unfavorable Semicircle was created. The channel began uploading large numbers of videos on April 5th. The channel continued to post large numbers of videos, all titled with the Sagittarius symbol or a random 6-digit number or both, but most lacking the description. The videos often just display abstract pixelated images, but in some cases they show just a single dot in a field of solid brown, or some videos emit a sound while others feature just distorted sounds. Some videos are only seconds in length, while others are much longer. One completely silent video was 11 hours in length. Unfavorable Semicircle was in the mainstream back in 2016, but has mostly been forgotten since. As far as I know, no one has fully solved this yet, if there is a mystery at all, and I don't know if anyone ever will. Alright, that wraps it up for part 1 of the social media iceberg. I hope you guys enjoyed it, because this is, I don't know, it feels kind of like a return to form. It feels very similar to the childhood trauma iceberg in a sense. And, I had a lot of fun making this. This is only part 1 of the series, so there's more coming. And if you want to see that when it comes out, I'd highly suggest that you hit the subscribe button and also ring the notification bell so you know when it actually comes out. You already know this, but just reminding people so, you know, you can really be there when it comes out, because we always have a premiere for these videos, and it becomes a very special experience. I know some of the old OGs really know how special these premieres can get, because we've had some crazy ones. But I really hope you enjoyed this, because I enjoyed it. I hope this video does well. Let me know what you thought about it in the comments, and I'll see you in the next part.